Hi, everyone. Brian Handrigan, co-founder of Traaqr, and we've built the first fully automated platform to optimize online advertising based on offline conversions. Now, don't confuse us with call tracking or call intelligence, because knowing that a call occurred is only half the battle. This is a lesson my co-founder Jeff and I learned the hard and very expensive way in a business we'd invested in. You see, that business was the extreme. 100% of its leads are generated online, and 100% of its conversions occurred offline. We tried all of the current call tracking and intelligence systems, and none of them worked, because we needed to know more than which keywords drove calls. We needed to know which keywords drove revenue, and more importantly, how to get more of that revenue. And we're not alone. Did you know that 94% of smartphone searches for businesses result in a phone call? And that number is growing by 73% to 162 billion calls annually by 2019. Now, we address this problem by creating our own product, one that starts by tracking offline conversions with the same precision as an e-commerce transaction. Enough talk. Let's get to the demo. So here we have a user. This is Ashley. She's searching for a new financial advisor, and she's found one via social media. She clicks on the link, and she's taken to a landing page. As that page loads, Traaqr's collecting important information, things like how she got there, which pages she's viewed, and other statistics. Ashley just interacts with that landing page. She can choose to call a number inside of the content or tap the Traaqr call widget, which connects her directly with an agent. That number there is tied specifically to Ashley and her web session. Back at the call center, the agent simply takes an inbound call. They do no extra work. While Ashley's phone call is ringing, Traaqr talks to the call center system and uploads a complete history and record of what she did online and where she came from. So all the agent has to do is accept that call. And now the agent doesn't have to ask those annoying lead source calls. They can get to know Ashley, her needs, and actually help her buy the product that she wants. Now, while the call's wrapping up, Traaqr's still talking to that CRM system. It wants to know what happened to that call. Did it sell? And for how much? Because that information is going to be transmitted back into the Traaqr database to use for future optimizations. Now, if you want to know everything that's going on like a supervisor, you can actually dig into the call history. And you can see all the calls that have come through. More importantly, you can see which calls resulted in just leads, and which ones resulted in sales, and which ones were just plain useless. Now, if you find a transaction you want to know more about, you can simply dig into that web session and go back to that anonymous session that Ashley had before we ever knew who she was. And we could see, and there you are, that social channel that brought her there to begin with. Now, we can't live within our walls. That's why we integrate with CRMs, analytic packages, as well as advertising platforms, because we need to optimize our ad spend and train those systems what a good click looks like. All right, so you've seen the demo. Can Traaqr work for you? Well, if you do any online to offline activity tracking, absolutely. During our minimum viable product, Traaqr's already handled 90,000 phone calls, tracked 500,000 web sessions. This is a good one. Optimized almost $1 million in ad spend in MVP, and recorded over $3 million in transaction value. Our patent-pending platform goes beyond just dashboards and reports, something we call rear-view analytics, and proactively optimizes your ad spend, and more importantly, trains those platforms like Facebook and Google which clicks generated revenue. Because of this, our MVP customer achieved a 34% reduction in monthly advertising expense and achieved upwards of 53.7% increases in monthly revenue. Take a minute. Think about what increases like that could do for you. Before I go, I want to leave you with this last thought. Current call tracking and call intelligence solutions, they're like rearview mirrors. They're great at telling you where you've been, but they don't help you get you where you're going. Traaqr is like having an autopilot with a heads-up display, taking you where you need to be, to those customers, safely, profitably, and automatically. Think about how your businesses could grow with Traaqr as your autopilot. Thank you.
Thank you, Traaqr. Judges?
Can you talk about what some of the insights are that your system's recommending for changes?
Sure.
Like, what did you find?
Yeah, so one of the really interesting things, so there are two aspects to the system optimizations, right? We've all been trained to think that we need to find a highlight, give it to a person, and have it automate. One of the things that was really important to us was we actually talked directly with the AdWords API. So we're actually sending that transaction value for that telephone call as if it were an e-commerce. So we're actually using Google's own quality score optimizations to our advantage. So that was the first and biggest, because it's more than just sending it to Google Analytics, where you can see it in a report. We need to send it to AdWords so that the quality score impacts and we target the right people without us even knowing. But on top of it, what we're looking at is actually profit driven by channel. So we can bring insights and say, between 10 and 12, let's load more budget into Facebook than AdWords. Or let's cut back. Maybe we don't need to be number one as a position. We can be number 3 and save 20%. So those are the types of things we're looking at.
Talk about how you make money and what are your barriers to entry.
Yeah. So you just have to go out on the floor, right? There are lots of call tracking tools out there. And then you have the high-end tools that can do some of the things, not all, but some of the things we do. Our pricing is we bring a high-end product to market starting at $39. So we're a SaaS-based play. It's based on volume. So we have an algorithm that helps our customers understand how many unique numbers they need to have in their plan so that they track the right precision, which is always important to us. So it goes from $39 to $14.99. You know, we have some customers, now we're launching officially out of our MVP this week, or September 1st coming up. So, but we already have $1 million in backlog in our pipeline based on our channel partners. So we expect our normal agency partner to generate about $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
And is one platform performing better than the other, Google or Facebook? And with that, when you get past the MVP, what additional platforms are you looking at right now?
Yeah. So actually, one of the things I didn't mention is we're working. So for the other search side, we're a launch partner with Bing for their upcoming offline conversion API, which didn't exist before. So as platforms add offline conversion APIs, we're adding those. When it comes to CRM, Salesforce, Zoho, Oracle, right, you go Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle, and you're about, 50% of the CRM market. We've got 5 nines. We know Genesis. We haven't integrated yet. So we're continuing to expand. The other thing we're doing is we're going to be doing a Zapier integration to get fringe-based platforms that we don't have to build an interface to.
Thank you, Traaqr.
Thanks.
Good job. Good job.